to be doing another interview to start off January 2021 with the lovely Sinead D. Welcome, Sinead, and thanks for coming on to chat with me today. Sinead is multifaceted, Sinead, I think is how I describe her. Sinead has a background in nursing and but also is qualified acupuncturist, Chinese herbalist, nutritionist. You have a whole array of strings under your belt, Sinead.
That's right, Catherine.
Yeah. But today, Sinead and I were just talking earlier, and I was saying one of the things that I am focusing on, kind of for January and February, is very much the psychological, the mental aspects of menopause and kind of midlife as well. And whilst we could well deviate into the many backgrounds Sinead has, today really we wanted to chat really about the challenges that many women face when it comes to menopause. And I guess, you know, I'd say on a regular basis, you know, I'll pick up the phone and, you know, I'll be having a conversation with a woman who's saying to me, you know, Catherine, I'm going mad. I'm absolutely losing my marbles. You know, I just, you know, something is off kilter. And I think that's a real challenge we have in menopause, is that if you don't know what to expect, that you do question yourself, and you do question, you know, I often hear, God, you know, women feeling they've early onset dementia and different things like that, just because our hormones play havoc with us. And not only do they play havoc with our moods, but, you know, they do also play havoc with our mindset. And I know, Sinead, this is an area that you're very passionate about, and you've done a lot of study in that area. So I don't know, do you want to just chat to us a little bit more maybe about I know you have a program at the moment online, the Feel Free Now program. Maybe you just want to chat about that and just, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, first, Siobhan. So I suppose, so what I'm doing is a 6-week mindset course, really. And it's really to get us thinking in a more positive way than a negative way. So like you're saying, you know, people are saying, you know, oh, you know, you feel like you're going mad and you don't know where you've left your keys. And this is me. Where's my phone? Where's my keys? I only put it down 2 seconds ago. Where are my glasses? And they're on my head.
The fridge. And
yeah, exactly. Things like that. And I suppose because, you know, our lives are so busy, and your brain, you're using all these different areas of your brain. And as women, we often tend to multitask. And really, when we're multitasking, you're actually using different parts of your brain. And this is really actually quite tiring for us. So what I'm doing with people is, it's a program really to kind of just make you feel calmer, and so that your thoughts you're more focused in your day, and this doesn't happen as much in your life, and you actually realize how sane you are, because really what you're looking for are the positive aspects of what's going on in your day. And how it works is it takes 15 minutes out of your day, but it's not, you have to take a 50-minute block out of your day. It's 2 minutes first thing in the morning, 2 minutes a few hours later, 2 minutes a few hours later, and 2 minutes at the end of the day. And that's kind of a reflection on your day. And what you do is we all know, okay, we all have faults. I have faults. None of us are perfect. And one of the biggest, I suppose, saboteurs or things that, as I would call it, a saboteur, but that sabotages me, will be my judge. And everybody is like this. We all judge ourselves. We can judge others. We can judge our circumstances. And when I started doing this, it was really funny. So if you think about it, when you get up first thing in the morning, so you go in and you look in the mirror, right? What do you think? What do most of us think? It's, you know, definitely when I started this, and I was really quite shocked. It was like, oh my God. And it's not. So you're telling yourself, you know, what is the message you're giving yourself? So how I changed that, or what I did was, you know, look at this amazing body that's got you as far as this in life, and how amazing is that, and and really acknowledging all the good aspects of this, instead of this immediate negative kind of mindset that we can tend to have. And this is in all areas of our life. So we judge a lot of things in ourselves. If we judge ourselves, then you're automatically going to judge other people. I mean, to me,
Mm.
that just makes perfect sense. And I would hate to think that I judge others, but of course I do. I mean, we have all these biases about other people, even though we don't even know them, or we don't know anything about what they do or anything about their lives. We make lots of assumptions about, how everybody. So I'm menopausal, and that woman is holding it together, and she's so together, and she always looks perfect, and everything is perfect about her life. But really, we don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
nobody's
Yeah.
life is perfect. Absolutely nobody.
No. Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
other thing we can do is judge our circumstances. So, so you'll talk to somebody who's menopausal, and you're maybe having, I don't know, 25 flushes a day. And this other person says, oh, no, I don't really, really get them. And then you're thinking, oh, my life is so awful because I'm the one that gets all the flushes. And so then you're judging your
Mm.
circumstances, and you're saying you're associating an awful life with something that's just part of your physiology. And it's a huge nuisance. There's no doubt about that. But actually, if you can change these thoughts. So okay, so I'm having a hot flush now, it's feeling very uncomfortable. You can go into the physicality of it at the time, and then do something like something different. Okay, so something like
Mm.
rubbing these two fingers together. So now that doesn't stop the hot flush. It just changes the intensity of going, oh my God, another hot flush. Oh, I feel awful. This is awful.
Yeah.
When,
Yeah.
so,
It's
so
kind of it's distracting. It's distracting your
absolutely.
brain, which I know when panic attacks can be quite common in menopause for some women, and the distraction techniques are really important. Whatever it is that just takes your brain, to somewhere else, so that you're not focusing on the moment of panic, just like you're saying there, Sinead, you're not
Yeah,
focusing on the hot flush, you
absolutely.
know.
Yeah. And I suppose I know a lot of people do, mindfulness meditation, or, you think, okay, I'll sit down in a quiet space, burn a candle, and I'll turn on some nice music, and I'll just reflect here for half an hour. But in real life, that,
Mm.
for me, that's not practical. That I need
Yeah.
something that's much faster. I need to be able to do it in the moment. So when I'm panicking because I have to be somewhere and I can't find the keys of my car, take a breath,
Yeah.
slow
Yeah.
yourself down. Don't, you're already late for that meeting. And, maybe thinking about things, okay, I can text somebody and say, I'm going to be 2 minutes late. I'm going to be 5 minutes late. And then when you're in the car, you might come up with some amazing idea in the car that you can bring to the meeting. So it's really stopping that, your mind just tearing off on you,
Yeah.
and just staying in that moment. But you have to do the exercises are kind of, they're at set times during the day. So there is flexibility with set times, because what you want to do is to change your thinking when you're in a stressful situation, or when you think, I haven't time for this right now, I have too much work to do.
Mm.
And for people who are perfectionists, that kind of stuff will drive you mad. I have to get this perfect. I can't do anything else until this is
Yeah.
absolutely perfect. But actually, no, you don't. Actually, you're much more important than getting the activity that you're doing done perfectly. So that's the
Yeah.
kind of
And I think um, there's a few things you've mentioned there that I think we know maybe are beginning to be turned in their heads. Like we know now that being a perfectionist is not a good thing. We know that that's coming from a place that really needs a bit of work. It's kind of trying to continuously prove yourself, and that puts huge demands on you as a person. um and I think and put that on top of the challenges of the sandwich years and midlife and menopause, it can become a real storm of emotions, and just trying to kind of navigate that.
yeah.
And I think the other thing is, Sinead, multitasking.
Mhm.
I used to think many years ago that, God, yeah, women, we're great. We're the great multitaskers. We're really good at this. But I now know multitasking is detrimental to our
Absolutely.
brain health. And I know, when you look at kind of future proofing your brain in terms of Alzheimer's, dementia, etc., one of the key things that it's really important to do is not to multitask, and it's to kind of make sure that we keep stress levels, keep them low, because it's really, really
Absolutely.
important,
But the
you know.
fact is, if you do multitask, and a lot of people, fatigue is a huge problem for people who are menopausal or perimenopausal.
Mm. Yeah,
And if you keep multitasking, you're draining your
yeah.
energy all the time by flicking your brain over to go down different pathways. So
Hmm.
if you think about it, if you retrain your brain, if you just do one thing at a time and you're calm while you're doing it, instead of trying to do 15 things, which is impossible, you then start
Yeah,
turning around and judging yourself. Why can't I do this? Everybody else can do it. It's crazy. Like, we know
yeah.
it's crazy logically, but it's just the way I guess that we're made. And also, I think marketing as well, it tells you, you can have this, you can do that, you can achieve this, you can have
Mm.
it all. And meanwhile, you're like knackered, So,
Yeah,
forget about what everybody else is telling you what to do, because ultimately, you know yourself. We want to feel fulfilled, right? We want to have a
yeah,
purpose
yeah,
in life. We
yeah.
want to have love in our life. So, and self-love is the place to start for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I know, like, oh God, I'd love to think of another word for kind of for self-care, because
Hmm, I
that
know.
word now has so many connotations loaded onto it that
Absolutely.
it needs something better. I don't know what that is. I'll let you know if I come up with it. But there's the importance of taking the time out when you're in menopause is it's to me, it's like breathing. I mean, to me, breathing is everything.
Mhm,
Taking time for the breath, etc. Taking time out is as important when it comes to this stage, because you have so many demands coming left, right, and center. And then there's the physical changes in
mhm,
your body
mhm,
that really you have to be able to have some disconnection time for yourself, whether that's, whether it's walking, whether it's reading, whether it's, meditation, mind, whatever it is. But
mhm,
it's really, really important. And we know, like, there has been research done in terms of hot flushes, that um, um, it's been shown that if you practice some form of meditation, if it's mindfulness or whatever, a form of meditation on a regular basis, that it can reduce the duration and the frequency of hot flushes. And this is all back to the intelligence and the magnificence that is the brain,
mhm, mhm,
because that's all part of the thermoregulation, when it comes into hot flushes and so forth. But I think, our brain is such an amazing organ.
mhm.
And it's like that, we can feed it, like you're saying, we can feed it so positively, and we can nourish it like we would our garden. But
Absolutely.
equally, we can be such really tough judges on ourselves, from, like you say, the minute you wake up and you look in the mirror at the morning. I couldn't even tell you what I thought this morning. I probably just thought about wake up.
Yeah, 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 exactly, exactly.
you
Yeah,
know
I know. But things, because during COVID now, and because our time clocks have gone out of sync as well, you're getting up at different times, and
yeah,
trying to, with work, you have to put that structure in, and there are things
yeah,
that that you can do that will make you feel better. But that doesn't always work out, and especially when people are homeschooling, we were talking about that
mm,
earlier.
mm.
It's like another thing. And
Yeah, yeah,
that's why I love this, because for people who have fatigue, or for people who have so much going on, 2 minutes a few times,
yeah,
4 times a day
yeah,
is not an awful lot. But the difference that it can make to all your tasks, to the relationship you're having, because you're trying to motivate others and get them to do work as well. So
yeah,
if you're having to push everybody, that is exhausting. But when we're more grounded in ourselves, then
Mm.
we kind of, it's just kind of like, you know what? I'm not going
It's
to push
easier.
them.
Everything's easier, isn't it, when
Yeah,
you're, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. And I
And
think,
what's
yeah,
so,
sorry.
sorry, what happens in the 2 minutes? What should, someone expect to happen at that time?
So literally what happens is you're using a different nerve pathway in your brain. So that's what happens. So it's like, if you think about your bicep muscle and you go to the gym and you're building your bicep. So you start off initially and your bicep doesn't automatically, not that we
Yeah.
all want huge biceps, but you know what I mean, right? An
You
analogy.
don't become Arnold Schwarzenegger overnight.
Yeah, exactly. But if
Yeah.
you think of the brain as a muscle, which obviously it isn't a muscle, but we know that there's a thing called neuroplasticity. And what
Mm,
neuroplasticity means is that we can grow new nerve pathways. So these beautiful nerves that our thoughts go down, and the more of the ones that the positive thoughts go down, or if we
mhm,
get these working and firing a lot more often than the other ones, because you're never going to be somebody who's just like zen all the time, as much as it would be
yeah.
fantastic. So there will be, of course, some, but what happens is you do increase these neurons, you do increase, like they'll be your default, as opposed to you have to go looking for them. So you do actually notice a difference very, very quickly. When I did the course initially, I kind of thought, oh God, another course, will this work? But I'm what I suppose what I'd call an open skeptic. So that's why I did the course. And within the space of a week, I could see how much of a difference it was making with how I was interacting with people, with how I certainly wasn't as negative towards myself. That self-empathy started kicking in. And when you're more empathetic towards yourself, you actually are more empathetic towards others. So you don't want to kill
Mm.
everybody in the room who won't do what you want them to do. Um, so very, very quickly, you notice the difference. And the other amazing thing is because when we get to menopause, it is the beginning of a whole new part of our life. And into
Mm.
your 90s, you can grow nerve pathways. And the
Yeah,
evidence is
yeah.
there to support that. I think that's just amazing.
And
Fantastic.
a lot of people don't realize that. I think many people think that we're going to lose brain cells and we're not
Mhm.
going to ever regenerate as we get older. But I mean, that is part of the magnificence of the brain, I think, you
Absolutely.
know.
And the body, you just need to keep using it.
Mm,
You need to keep moving. And I suppose the other thing in terms of menopause, because a lot of people can experience pain, pain in the muscles, pain in the
yeah.
joints, things like that. And we know the evidence shows that up to 80% of the pain you experience is between your ears. Now, I am not saying that people are not experiencing physical pain and that there is a cause for that, but I'm just saying that you can reduce the amount of pain you have significantly by working on retraining your brain as well. So
Okay.
it
Yeah.
just has incredible impacts in different areas of your life. I love it. I
Yeah.
mean, I just
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I
I
mean,
know I
I'm,
sound like I'm kind of, oh, this is the most amazing thing in the world. And there are different programs that suit different people. There are different therapists that suit different people. This is something I found absolutely brilliant. And when I think this really works for me, I know it can work for other people. So I use it
mm.
as part of my work.
Yeah, great, great. And I just think, I mean, I'm so fascinated with the brain anyway.
Hmm.
I just think it's so amazing, and I think I think when you come to perimenopause, menopause, I always use those interchangeably. But when you do come to that stage, you do question things, and different things come up. We know from, past interviews I've done, if there's been trauma at any stage in your life,
Mm,
the time it will come back is in menopause.
yeah.
We also know that it's a time where we do stop and we do think a little bit more about where we're at in terms of, are you where you want to be? Or are there things that you want to do that maybe you haven't done? Or, creativity, your outlet becomes, quite a big focus. And I guess there's a little bit more of you look inward more and look at, kind of where you're at in your life. And I do think it's really the power of our thought
Hmm.
is so important. I mean, that's something I would have come across many years ago. But like, you know, look, everyone knows of, say, like Louise Hay and affirmations and things like that. They all came from, you know, linked into the power of changing how we think about things.
Mhm.
You know, it sounds like your course is obviously very kind of proactive, hands-on way
Yeah. Yeah.
of doing it, which I think is
Mhm.
is great as well, because we do need that at 2 minutes a few times a day. That's not
Absolutely.
tough, is it?
It really isn't. And for people, because I would work with a lot of people in my other roles, you know, who have extreme fatigue. And this is not an option, you know, to do something that takes an awful lot of time. Or say I have people, I work with people who have cancer, and they can't read a book or concentrate on a book. Some people call it
Yeah,
chemo brain. But this is so simple and it can make a difference for anyone. So when I'm looking for something, it has to be simple, it has to be practical, and I have to see results.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
kind of my criteria.
yeah, yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah,
it's useless to anybody. And I
yeah.
think that kind of comes from my nursing years, because you're so practical as a nurse. But also you listen to a lot of people and you learn, okay, what are the small things that this person can do to empower themselves.
Mm,
And I think for people that I would meet who are perimenopausal or menopausal, oftentimes their confidence has decreased.
yeah, yeah,
And to
it's a big one.
build that confidence back up again, it's brilliant for doing that as well. I mean, it's a start. It's, you know, obviously you need to do other things, but if you're in a place thinking, where do I even start? And
Yeah,
then this is so simple to start here, and it just opens up your life. And then what's your sense of purpose? That's what you were talking about, you know, when you're reflecting on your life, how I've gotten to where I am now, and what's happened in my life so
mm,
far, and where did I want to be, and how do I get there now, or what do I want in my life? What do I want now? With all this wisdom that
mm.
I have, because when you get to this
Yeah,
age,
yeah.
you've gained wisdom.
We definitely do. Yeah, yeah. The good, the
So,
bad, and the ugly.
absolutely, yeah. But it
It's
doesn't mean that we still can't be curious about things, you know, and
mm,
creative about things. I love that. I love kind of, if I'm stuck in something that's maybe very academic, and I'm trying to understand it, and I'm thinking, okay, what other way can I have this make sense for me, and just get really
mm,
curious and start asking lots of different questions about it. And we can do this in our lives. So, you know, if something's not working for me right now, you know, if I'm frustrated by something, so what's in this? What am I getting from this? How can I change this slightly? Is there anything slightly different I could do that would make that feel better? Or do I need to, you know, and try these different things, and then say, okay, you know what, this is not working in my life. Get rid of it
yeah,
and
yeah,
try something
yeah.
different. That, you know, that curiosity. And that's what makes life interesting, because life is amazing. It's such a gift.
Mm,
So
mm.
yeah, that's kind of how I
Have
feel
you
about it.
read Sinead, Into the Magic Shop? I can't remember the guy who's written it,
I
but
haven't, but I'm going to
I
put it
think,
on my list. What's it
yeah,
about?
I think you'd really, neuroplasticity. It's all about that. It's this boy. It tells the story of this boy who, I think he's probably around 10 or 11, and um, his life is pretty tough. His home life is pretty tough. His father's an alcoholic, and so forth. And he meets this older woman at the age of 11 in a magic shop, and she spends, it's a true story,
Hmm.
she spends the summer teaching him meditation and neuroplasticity, and they talk all about that and so forth. But he actually went on to become a neurosurgeon, and just an amazing story around it. So he's now written this book, Into the Magic Shop, and beautiful. It's beautiful. I mean, if you ever
Wow.
wanted the reasons as to why, you
Yeah,
should
yeah.
sit and, not ruminate, but sit and maybe, practice
Contemplate.
mindfulness, contemplate. Yeah, then that book tells you why you should do it.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's very good. I think you'd like it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and Sinead, for anyone to find out more, I'll put the links in on when I post this. But on the Pulse dot clinic is your
That's my
website.
website. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right. I'm on Facebook, on the pulse.clinics. But you'll also find me on Life is Short. There's a whole long story about how that came onto Facebook, but you'll find me on Life is Short only talking about the program, because I believe life is short, and if you go there, you'll find out why I believe life is short.
Is that sorry, there's my dog off. Is that a Facebook page, Life is Short?
That's right, a Facebook page, Life is Short. But I'm also on the Pulse Clinics. But on the Pulse Clinics, I do my, the Chinese medicine, and also I do interviews with people on Thursdays, and that goes on there. I cross post anyway, so you'll find this information there. But if people only want information on the 6-week course, then Life is Short is where you should go. I'm on Instagram as well, and I am on LinkedIn as Sinead D.
Great. Okay, I had to put myself on mute there because I think going
yeah,
mad at the postman or something.
yeah. I have dogs as well. It doesn't, everybody loves dogs, right?
Yeah, big time. Oh, she's funny. Honestly, you'd swear she was the local guard dog the way she goes on. Anyway, she'd run a mile then if she had to. But anyway, part of the family.
Yeah.
Well, listen, that was great, Sinead, and yeah, I'll put this out, and obviously, if anyone has any questions or anything, they can come back to me, and I'll add in the links to where you can contact Sinead as well. But I'm certainly looking forward to checking this out, Sinead. It sounds great.
Thanks a million, Catherine.
We can all do with 2 minutes here and there, I think.
Exactly. Thank you so much for having me on today.
Oh, not at all. A pleasure. And thanks to everyone for listening. We'll chat again soon. Thanks.
Thanks, Siobhan. Bye.